Active Magnolia Priestess, Magnolia Priest, back with another one. So we about to get into this collective reading for my Earth Angels and my collective, those who are believers and have done the individuation process or has started the individuation process. This is what you're currently going through, what you need to embrace yourself for, and what confirmations are necessary in order to endure what the con artists are trying to project upon you. Okay? Yeah. Because once you step into that individuation process, collective, I want y'all to understand that you're going to be confronted with a lot of shadows that manifest into the physical. Because everything is happening all at once when you begin. Okay? So this is going to be confirmation for whoever this needs to be confirmation for. Let's see. We're going to start with what is the collective experiencing at this moment? So what I'm already seeing before I even get any cards is you're experiencing a form of connection. Beyond popular belief, people believe that that is just themselves speaking to themselves, which is technically true because you have a soul and a spirit. And the soul is what connects you to heaven, okay? That is the eternal aspect of yourself. Okay? Yeah. You're starting to see that certain people aren't where you are in spirit as well as intellectually. Because when you tap into that energy, you begin to grow in wisdom, which is one of the fruits of the spirit. Okay? Yeah, you're starting to build like boundaries, healthy boundaries. And it's perfectly fine. Don't feel offended. Don't feel like you're offending, okay? Because this is a fresh perspective that you are starting to experience, okay? And the uncomfortability is what you have to sit in order to experience the nuance of spirit meeting soul, okay? Hey, what's up? It's gonna pay off in the long run, okay, collective? You're gonna start seeing the fruits of your labor start manifesting into real life because it is coming from somewhere outside of yourself. When you believe that things are given to you from the physical, that is where the con artists or the archons are deriving their strength from because you are basically reciprocating falsehood with falsehood. Okay? Take that how it resonates. Okay? For the people who are aware of spirit, hello, welcome to the live, who are aware of spirit and what you can pull from the spirit and manifest it into the physical from the communications and the conversations with the relationship with your soul, then you are aware of what I am speaking of. Okay? You have a lot of decisions that you have to make in order to cut off your energy siphoners, okay? Which is basically like what people say, cord cutting. Because you can't take the old into the new if they aren't willing to do the transition, okay? Just like the story of Lot's wife. She turned around and she became bitter. Yes, it needs a nozzle for in order to be refilled.
The red one?
Yeah, but for some reason the red one isn't working. So what I'll probably end up having to do is buy another can and just use the adapter in order to use that one as well. But that one I can't use that for some reason. Okay, collective.
That's why it downstairs. Before that, that's why it's not there. I don't know.
That's a lot for a lighter. I said that's a lot for a lighter.
No, that's two.
Oh, two lighters. Okay, so that conversation just basically was confirming everything I'm telling you as I'm speaking. When it comes down to giving your energy, which is this fuel thing right here, right? And you're fueling up things or other people, and they're not willing to accept the nozzle to be replenished on a soul level, then you're dealing with an empty flake or empty flame, a vessel that has no soul because they have sacrificed it in order to retrieve manifestations from the physical instead of the spirit. Okay? That is where they come into the terms of empty vessels. People or things that do not produce their own energy or connection to source. Okay? With strength here, which is like divine energy, or in other words, source energy, where you are connected with source and you're understanding of source and you're able to communicate with source and you're receiving source advice, wise counsel. Okay? That comes from within and around and not from someone. Okay? You understand when the spirit is speaking to you because you're able to test the fruits when you're fully equipped with discernment. When you allow things to transpire in front of your view and you perceive it in an alternative way than what it is being presented, which is the truth. Hello, welcome to the live, Samantha. You are basically living in delusion or allowing pride to blind you. Okay? If this is too complex to understand, please do understand that when you are ready and you are thinking of this video or my messages, just come back and return because the truth will be able to be more decipherable. Okay? When you are connected to the divine, you do not speak in a way where people who are not prepared for the intellectual nourishment can receive it. Heaven is not that easy to access. You actually have to do the work. Okay? Give me something, Holy Spirit. The star. Okay? Which is basically like a sun or something that produces its own energy. And with the Empress next to the star, it's basically saying that someone is tapping into the divine feminine energy. Divine feminine energy is the intuitive energy, okay? That is the side of you that knows without knowing how you know. And that's the truth with Ace of Swords here. I'm claircognizant. And I'm also able to prove the presence of the Holy Spirit in real time. I'm able to show people how the universe communicates without cards, without any form of divination, as well as any form of pastor or priest. I am a self-taught priest. I am a self-taught priestess. I have connection to the divine and I prove it without having to even say much of anything. So if a person who claims to be something and they're not able to produce the fruits of the spirit, do understand that they are underneath the archonic or con artist influence. People are not all connected. Some people are just empty vessels because they have depleted the source of the creativity that comes from outside of themselves, which is all around the connection to everything. Okay? You cannot look at the world and think that the world is separate from yourself and think that you are actually tapped in. Yeah, I don't feel like shaving, so I'm gonna leave it right where the fuck is at, sitting pretty on the hairs of my chinny chin chin. Okay? I call out every sinny sin, bitch. Yeah, that's why these hoes miserable. Because truth is starting to reveal itself. The source of revealing light. Catch it. That boy. You know, I am the original word. You know, I told people I'm Jesus, but they don't believe me, so I don't give a fuck. I say what the fuck I say. I'm just here bringing awareness to the collective who are attached to the collective consciousness. My awareness is what people are feeling, the righteousness inside of the universal laws that are actually what the code of conduct is meant to be, not what the laws of man say. Okay? That part. Yeah. But people choose to live inside of the delusion because they're comfortable with the escapist behaviors that they have adapted to, you know? And that's because they became a product of their environment instead of going within and becoming a product of that environment. It's not a way of saying disconnect, but it is a way of saying connect, so you know the connection, and you can individually and still be who you are and who you choose to be, but you integrate it with the truth. So you're able to be like, how can I say, secret agent squirrel, or you're able to be like the master of disguise, is what I'm gonna call it. Okay? When you have that understanding, you're not really worried about too much because you understand that you're protected without you even having to feel like you have to continue running backwards and forwards to a church. It's just a knowing, you know? You just know better. Give me something, Holy Spirit. I'm calling out all people. I'm calling judgment on the people who consider themselves to be God as well. People who consider themselves to be Jesus as well. Because what they don't understand is that they're leaving a distorted legacy. Okay? A distorted legacy. We're all of the likeness. Definitely so. But when you're not connected, you have fallen from grace. You know? Everyone has divine essence. Okay? But you're not the ingredients that created it. You're just that essence. I used this analogy one time before, where there's like bleach and there's Lysol. They both disinfect, but one basically dilutes and distorts the color, and the other one just sanitizes. Okay? But when you use these concentrated portions and you pour it and mix it with water, okay, the strength of it diminishes. Okay? Hello, welcome to the live. And that is basically where people are, mankind is. Humans are not underneath the same governance as the ones who they consider themselves gods. Okay? Y'all have the ability as humans to make mistakes, learn from the mistakes, do the dark night of the soul, and then reconnect with source. It is literally like the escape room movie, where you have to figure out what the puzzle is in order to make it out divine, like sunshine. Where you have to make it out of the room before you spiritually deplete. Okay? And for those who are causing the distortion, the ones who I'm speaking of, the ones who were aware of the majestic connection to heaven within, and they took the divinity and gave the focus to themselves, that is basically what I am combating against spiritually. Those falsehoods, because they are not who they say they are in the sense of almighty source, omnipotent source. Okay? I hope that makes sense to whoever's listening. Because like I said, I didn't learn any of this from studying or believing in anything outside of my connection as a child to the Most High. I never had to read a book. I never had to listen to a person. When it came down to the essence that dwells within, it's literally a moral compass that guides you and keeps you on your yellow brick road. Okay? So everything I say is literally proven just by me. I am literally the living sacrifice to show people that the kingdom of heaven dwells within you, and you don't have to go to anyone or do any rituals, because I haven't killed any goats. I have not given any food or anything like that other than my gratitude for the understanding that they have given me. as well as the understanding of the connection that I have in totality with solidarity, unwaveringly, okay? Because they are able to talk to you in real time. And they have always spoken to me in real time. I've always had a connection in real time. So I debunk everything. So you are a God, we bow to you, my friend. No, I don't look for worship. I want everyone to understand where they are in their spiritual journey by understanding what I'm debunking. Okay? Not to worship me, but just to listen and understand where I'm coming from my perspective of how I can show the results of what they teach without having to have studied it. Okay? Just like how inside of the Bible, a lot of the situations inside of the Bible basically align with my life. Like how my birthday is 4/10, right? The New Year's in Ethiopia, my birthday will be 8/2. Okay? And in the Bible, when they talk about Melchizedek, they use the numbers 4/1. Okay, 0 is a placeholder. My name as a child was Little Mel. Okay, my middle name was Ra Mel. Okay, and my name now, which I've changed it to, is Isis Amon Ra. Okay, the Spirit revealed to me who I was without me even having to ask, because I'm a very humble servant. Not in the sense of I serve and I don't have my own free will and I don't have the understanding that I can do what the fuck I want to do if I don't want to listen to what the Spirit is saying, telling me. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to. And that's an understanding outside of myself. Because we all have free will, which is Lucifer. Lucifer was created perfect, but that is free will. Everyone has that essence within them. Okay? But that's the trick. Because you're tempted to do things outside of what you're being guided to do. You know you're not comfortable with it, but you still choose to do it. You give your power away and you say this person made you do something, when in actuality you just didn't trust that inner knowing that this person is manipulating you, and distance myself because I don't feel comfortable allowing this person to use me in that manner. Or how they say everyone gets angry. I've never really gotten angry. I've never wanted to fight anybody. I've always been a peaceful person. The only times that I've ever had to get into altercation is when someone couldn't accept the truth. I've always been able to speak the truth with ease because I always saw the truth and I'm a truth speaker from birth. Okay? People trying to distort your truth and make it their truth, but that's subjective as opposed to the objective truth of the moral compass of the Holy Spirit that guides you. Okay? You're not going to be able to understand everything that I say if it's not the time for you to understand it. But the understanding is always going to be understood because everything that I'm saying, once you do your own soul searching, because I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to shine light on what's real and what's fake. Me giving my experience as a testimony is just saying, okay, well, this person has done this without having to listen to someone tell them exactly what to do. Because no one, I don't give a fuck what no one saying. Bitch, if your name isn't Jehovah, bitch, if your name ain't God, speaking to me, the invisible parents, bitch, you can't tell me what to do. I'm going to listen to you. I'll cooperate, but I don't have to accept it. I will tolerate it. I'll tolerate everything that you're telling me. But the truth in plain sight is listening to the Holy Spirit in the person's voice. Being able to hear what God is saying through this person. Understanding that there's no such thing as good and evil. And when you understand that there's no such thing as good and evil, the wickedness that people are doing to you, you'll be able to discern it. And you'll be able to alchemize it because you understand your divine authority, your sovereignty. That's why no one inside of my proximity has ever, once I turned 30, okay, because I'm 30 now, this is the year of Jubilee, right? Christ consciousness, which is my awareness, because I've always had my own awareness, but because I wasn't as confident. See you later. Thank you for coming in. As confident because of me just listening from 12 to 30 to what other people are showing me within themselves and their character, their integrity. I understood I'm really not like these people. I'm really not like these people. These people are actually allowing their temptations of control to use them to make the wrong decisions against a child of God or someone who doesn't have ill intentions or matching intentions towards them. Okay, let me give an example. A person who always calls you to do something like they don't have their own 2 feet, their own 2 hands to do what they need to do for themselves. Although I would do it, I understood within myself, oh, I'm only going to do this for exercise because I know I'm lazy and I don't want to get up and go outside and do no walking and all the extra shit, so I'm going to just use this as exercise, as opposed to the person who's unconscious that the Holy Spirit is only asking them to call that person because of what that person is feeling on the inside. Like I said, I'm doing this for exercise, but in their conscious mind, they lazy and they want control. They want to see if they can make you do it. Okay? That intention, the mixed match of intention is basically what I'm saying about a person's perspective and the truth. Yeah, it's true that your intentions was to have control over the person and make them do your bidding. But the Holy Spirit, which is the truth, is telling you, the person, third person, I'm talking third person, but it's telling you that this is only for your exercise. I need you to get up because you're sitting down so much and I need you to get back to work. There's always a deeper meaning in everything that we are being presented with in life. And that's the Holy Spirit talking through the vessels that are amongst us. That is the connection to everything. You being able to see that. But when you're not connected, you're thinking that this person is trying to take advantage of you because, you know, they keep calling you and you don't want to be bothered. No, the Holy Spirit is talking to you as well. That's basically what I'm saying. Those who understand, they understand. But those who don't understand, hopefully the understanding will be made clear in a way that is plain as day for you. Okay? I don't know how to better dumb it down. Give me something, Holy Spirit. Yeah, page of wands. So these are like new form communication, new form understanding, new form disruptions that basically helps align you better with making your own sovereign decisions, keeping your own opinions, doing your own opinions, and knowing what you want to do separate from man. Because I'm sovereign, I'll do nothing if I don't want to do. Even if a bitch think that they controlling me, I understand. That's why a lot of women are mature faster than men, because men feel as though they're in control. When a woman understands what's necessary in their life and what they have to do in order to achieve that at that moment. Okay? Some men understand that understanding, but a lot of men, they are very earthbound in their perspectives in regards to what control actually is. Control is not manipulation. Control is surrender. Because when you surrender, you understand that you can control yourself. But the people around you, they have their own free will because that's what God gave them. Okay? So God gave them in order to individuate and to integrate the soul with the spirit. Okay? Lucifer was cast from heaven and bound to the earth because it's free will. Made perfect. We're all perfect. People say, oh, you're not perfect. We're all perfect. If we're all supposed to be God, we're all supposed to be Jesus, We're all supposed to be filled with the Holy Spirit. Why we're not perfect? We have everything invested in us once we tap in. Just saying. Just saying. When you're able to tap in, you're able to separate the sounds of the Holy Spirit from the ego. You're able to discern the two. You're able to see what the Holy Spirit is sneaking inside of the conversation through that vessel. Okay? I really wish I could show y'all in real time. But this is what I'm being given to do from the Spirit. Say it how I'm saying. Very true. Very understandable. I have this prick in my back. Like right in the upper back. Upside down, it's turning me. Yeah, that's hangman energy. You see how I just said upside down, eternity? That's what I heard in my mind, my mind's eye. You know, a lot of people who do divination, they do divination, but they don't need the cause for real. They connected to the all-knowing source. It comes from within. And a lot of psychics and stuff like that, they have a spark, even though they're still doing their individuation process. It's a whole complete energy shift when you find heaven. You understand that there is something outside of yourself that you're going to be returning to. Okay? You're becoming sovereign from the reincarnation. You can reincarnate at will. Okay? Because angels are amongst us. They definitely have people out here who have been brought here as the 144 to end a cycle of illusion. This is the revelations of disillusionment, where you are becoming sovereign in your own kingdom within because of the awareness that's being brought to you. Okay, it's hard to accept these words because no one wants to hear that everything that they have been taught or everything that they know is a lie. But it's not just a lie, it's true, but it's only subjective. Okay, you have to draw your own objective truths from the subjective truths that were taught to you. Everything has a purpose. Nothing is by happenstance and nothing is by chance. I don't see the world as good or evil. I see the world as something that I can navigate and understand with my own ability of discernment given from the divine essence that gives us all life. The story of Pinocchio is truth in plain sight, okay? You could be a puppet or you could be a real boy. Okay, motherfucker said I had a mustache, which I got hair on my chin too. You know? I don't give a fuck. I love me. When I shave this off, I look good anyways. When I keep it growing, I look good anyways. When I'm bald, I look good anyways. So I don't give a fuck. I love me because my soul is pretty. Very gorgeous. Very handsome. Whatever the fuck you want to call it. You know, when you understand the understanding, you don't give a fuck what people got to say about you. Because you know better. You know what you're going to tolerate, what you're not going to tolerate. You don't have to do nothing when you understand the understanding. The Bible and a lot of other texts, don't get me wrong, the sacred text and stuff is basically the same thing that's just being regurgitated. But when people don't have that all spark, that real true essence and connection to the divine, they don't understand what's being presented to them. Because it's really a science book, a psychology book, in order to master your own mind, which is your own free will, in order to connect back with heaven, redemption. Okay? Everybody got the all spark when they want it. But when you harden your heart, bitch, God is not going to dwell in the unclean temple. Or you want to do what the fuck you want to do? You're supposed to honor your parents, but you don't want to honor the invisible ones that created your parents. It's crazy. It's crazy. That's why gratitude is so important. You know, I like a lot of people who believe in spirituality because they understand that there's things that's unseen, invisible things that are still there, regardless to if you choose to believe it or not. But the people who blaspheme against the Holy Spirit, that's the only unforgivable sin. Even though you're going to pass away and your soul is still going to return back to the Almighty Source, your spirit is still going to be disconnected. That's why individuation is so important. Because if your spirit and your soul aren't doing the twin flame journey, bitch, you will not see what we see. You won't see what we see. You will not be welcome to the knowledge that we are welcome to. And if it is given to you, you will not be able to understand it. Okay? And that's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. It's the truth. You know, you could connect, or you could be the walking dead. You know, a lot of people are walking dead, believing in everything in front of them, fueled by pride, thinking that there's only 100 years to live. This is my second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh incarnation, just trying to get people to understand the understanding. And yes, I remember my previous incarnation. I remember the other dimensions. I remember all that shit. You know, even if it comes vividly, the truth isn't going to sit right with everyone, just like how Men in Black, they have the little flashback. The Holy Spirit will blank your mind out if it's not meant for you to hear it. And that's okay. But I hope this message helps someone who needs to hear it. I love you.